I don't want to waste your time in this video. This is exactly how I grew my chest from this to this, and my triceps from this to this in about 3 years or so. So in this video, we'll go over, this is like a little workout plan that I've made. So this is the one I follow. So we've got incline dumbbell press. This is for chest, by the way. Incline dumbbell press, cable fly, dips, single arm tricep push down, and then I do line tricep extension, but I'm going to use a different example for that. So I'm literally just going to walk you through exactly how I do them, show you the exact form and all the technique and everything, so you know exactly what to do when you first walk into the gym. So for chest, we start off with the incline dumbbell bench press, and also for every single exercise I do 2 sets, as you can see, set 1, 2, and I train to absolute failure, so to the point where I cannot move the weight, and that is between 4 and 7 reps. So I train heavy because that's where I've noticed the most amount of muscle growth. Whether you want to train 8 to 12, I don't mind, it's up to you. So as you can see, I'm getting 7 reps, 5 reps, 7 reps, whatever. So for chest, incline dumbbell bench press. So when this loads, so you're going to place the bench at this 30-degree angle. So not 45 like this, not like that angle, not flat, not 15 degrees, which would be slightly inclined, which I did for a long time actually. 15 degrees is not the right incline, 30 degrees is. So about this, right? So not totally 45, not 15, just in the middle there at 30, as you can see right there. And then the bench, have it 1 incline upwards. I don't know what the degrees is, but you can see it's just slightly like the first incline you can get. So then you're going to grab the 2 dumbbells and you're going to place them on your knees, right? So on your legs. And you're going to make sure you get a nice firm grip on the handles. And when you go back, you don't want to, what you want to do is thrust your knees backwards into yourself, and it will put the dumbbells onto your chest. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So when I go back, give me a second. Hurry up, mate. Here we go. See, I thrust my thighs into my chest, so I bring the dumbbells into myself, right? Because most people, what a lot of people do, a lot of beginners, they just try and put the dumbbells onto their chest, and that uses lots of energy and it can injure your shoulders or whatever. But if you use that, then it's literally just momentum pushing backwards into your chest, just like that. And also you can do one at a time, like one leg at a time. I don't personally like that. I like doing that on shoulder press, where it's like vertical like this. But when I'm lying down doing a chest press, I like doing both knees at the same time, right? So thrust into yourself, so you get to this point, and then you literally just want to push up, right? So you're kipping, you're just using momentum to get it up. This is just the starting position. This is not actually the real set yet. So you can use whatever you need just to get it into position. If you've got a spotter, they can put their hands under your triceps there and push it up, just like that. So I'm now ready to start the set. So what you're going to do, your knees are supposed to be slight, like this angle, like straight down, and your feet are trying to push into the ground. It's called leg drive, and essentially you want to push down into the ground like you're trying to push the ground downwards. Right, so you might not be able to see it in this clip, but my thighs are totally activated and locked into the floor, right? And that's leg drive. That gives you power. And also you have a little bit of an arch in your back here. You don't want it to be completely flat on the bench. You do want a little bit of an arch, but you don't want your butt to be going miles into the sky, right? So you want a little bit of an arch in your back and keep your butt on the bench. Now, when you go down, you want it to be at a 45-degree angle. Because what most people do when they do anything like this, they do it at this angle, so they go up and down like this, right? So they go completely, in fact I'll move back a bit, they go completely like this. You want actually for it to be like this. You can see how my arms are at a slight angle. They're not, otherwise they'd be going down in this kind of path, right? But instead they're at an angle. You don't want them to be super close to your chest. You want them to be at a 45-degree angle. So not wide, not too close, 45-degree. Go down, and you want to take a slight pause at the bottom. Don't just be going up and down dead quick. Just slight pause at the bottom and then thrust back up again. You can see slight pause. Maybe I could have done it a little bit longer. And also you can see I slightly kipped. Kipped basically just means using momentum. See how I used a bit of leg drive there. Maybe just don't do that. Try and limit the amount of kipping you do. Okay, so So you can see I do it a little bit, but lots of people like thrust out like this, and obviously that's going to target other muscles, and it's just going to take the emphasis off your chest and triceps. So it's like, well, why would you do that in the first place? Now, when you go down, you don't want to half rep. When you do a half, what I see a lot of people doing is they go down and they only go down to about here, and then they go back up again. You want to, depending on the size of the dumbbell, obviously, because smaller dumbbells have like this, the face of the dumbbell here is smaller, so it takes longer to get down to your chest. So you'd be at like this position with your arms, which is not good. You don't want to be at like a complete 45, like a 90-degree angle like this, right? Because you can see I get a little bit more depth in my chest if I lean just a little bit beyond that. I find the most, like the nicest stretch I get is when you get to 90 degrees and go a little bit further like that. As you can see, I'm not completely 90 degrees here, like towards my body, I'm just slightly downwards, and that allows the face of the dumbbell to just touch my upper pec right there, as you can see. So you go up and it slightly touches my pec there, and then up, like the front of my shoulder, like my front delt. Because lots of people only go to about there, and it's like, well, you haven't even reached the bottom of your chest. Sure, it's like 90 degrees, but you haven't actually gone to the bottom of your chest. So that's what I personally do. That's what I've found to be the best for muscle growth and just activation in your chest. Sure, you can, you know, ego lift, and you get to the point where you're like lifting like 50s or whatever. But see, look how long that pause was there. Look how long that pause was. The amount of activation and the pump you get from that is ridiculous. Look at that. Look at that pause. I mean, yeah, I failed that point. That's probably why. And also, when you go down, it's basically the opposite of how you went up. So I failed at this point. I can't do any more. Don't drop them down to the floor, because I see loads of people doing them, just dropping them, because that can smash your phone if your phone's like on the floor. It can roll over and land on your foot or something, and it can just cause a shoulder injury, right? Because if you're letting down these big weights like that, then it's just not good for you. So to exit safely, you want to bring your quads back up, just like this. And if you just move down and put the weight onto your knees, you don't even have to do anything. Literally, just gravity just takes you and it just lifts you forward like that. I didn't even do anything. I just pulled my knees up and put the weights onto it, and just momentum takes you like that, and then you're up and done. That is how you do incline dumbbell press. Done. That is for your upper chest. So now we are moving on to dips. So I like to use weights for this. You can see I've got some weights, but obviously some people can't do dips right now. You might not be able to do dips right now. So if you can't, then I've got some alternatives later. Let me just delete this slide because that's not supposed to be there. So, all right, so I just realized that one of my clips is just not here. So what I wanted to do is have these two exercises like I've just showed you. Well, I'm about to show you dips. And then I've got this one where on the cable machine it's halfway, and you basically do a chest fly like this. So I don't know where the clip's gone, it's just disappeared, which is fantastic. So I'll show you how to do these two alternatives to the other exercises. Like these two you can do instead of these two. And then basically you're just going to have to do it in between. It's very self-explanatory, but I'll get onto that. So that is my mistake, I apologize. But for dips, as you can see, I've got weights. If you can't do dips, then move on to the alternative that I'll talk about in a second. But for dips, how many times can you say dips? What you want to do is just see how I'm sort of tilting over. Right, if I go back to the start, instead of going straight down and your body being completely straight, see how I sort of hunch over? What I do, it's hard to explain really, but what I do is I lift my knees upwards, so I'm almost like crunching my abs a little bit, right? So I lift my knees upwards and I hunch over like this, literally like get down into like a crunching position. See that? I'm now sort of in a crunching position. And when you go down, instead of all the emphasis being on your front delt on your shoulder, it is now on your chest. And it just feels phenomenal, because lots of people say that, you know, it hurts the shoulders or whatever, but I find that this is just the fix for it, right? And so when you go down, you don't want to stop, you don't want to go too far down. You want to go at a 90-degree angle just like this. Any further down, it'll hurt your shoulder. Any less than that, sometimes people go to about there. It's like you haven't reached the bottom of the movement. So, you know, stop being a wuss. Go all the way down and then pause and then go all the way back up again. And don't lock out your joints. So you see here when I'm at the top of the movement, my arm is still a tiny bit bent. It's not completely straight, because otherwise you'll just put emphasis on your joints and it'll just, you know, hurt your joints. So like, why would you do it? So nice and controlled. Again, in every single set that we do, I don't want you to just be like, rep it out really quick. Take it nice and slow. Nice and slow. See the rate at which I'm going? Nice and slow. I could do a little bit more of a pause at the bottom. See, that was perfect. That was a perfect rep right there. If you could follow that, then you'd be living, right? So nice and slow down, just like that. Perfect. So now onto some alternatives instead of dips and incline dumbbell bench press, and they're both just on the cables. So if you've got a cable machine, what you want to do is get these handles. So you might have, you know, 2 different types of handles, whatever. Try and get a grip or a handle that looks like this. So you can basically just wrap your hand around it. Attach that onto the little carabiner right there. And then if you want to target your lower chest, which is instead of this exercise, then you put them at the top. So you have them literally just do like a starfish, and wherever your hands end up, that's where you put the cable. So let it load. There we go. So I've got this little step here that I just sort of step on and push myself into position, which is handy, but you know, if you don't have that, you don't have that, it's fine. So you can see it depends on how much weight you're doing and the type of cable machine you've got, but I like put emphasis, I pull back, use momentum, and then go down as if I'm doing a dip. So I pull it back and go over it like that. Otherwise, if you just move it down, it'll like really wreck your shoulders and everything. See, so I'm using momentum to get in position. So I actually forgot what I was doing here, because I used to do this different variation of this and I didn't really like it. So let me just get into the right position. Okay, so what a lot of people do is they go really wide and their arms are basically like this. They're like straight and they're going like this. I don't personally like that. I don't personally like that. Instead, I've figured out a new way where it's hard to see from this angle, but normally you'd be standing out here. You'd take about 3 steps away from the machine and start doing the exercise. But here I am pretty much right in front of it. I know you can't tell, but my back foot is in line with the cable machine there, right? So I am literally just standing forward. I've not stepped forward, I'm just standing forward. You get into this lunge position with your dominant foot forward or whatever feels best. And when you go up, you don't want to be flying. Like, this is called high to low cable flies, and then this is low to high. So you bring it up, and then the one I was going to teach you in a second, which I've lost a clip of, is in the middle like this. So you've got high to low, which does your low chest, low to high, which does your upper chest, and then middle, which does your middle chest. Wherever it ends up is what part of your chest it does. So for this is high to low. As you can see, that does my lower chest. Now, it's very difficult to explain this. But essentially, when you go up, you want your arms to be slightly bent, and you want to, it's very difficult to explain. Instead of going like out to the side like this, you want to go, I'm going to stand up for this and everything, right? In fact, let me get the 1x zoom on this thing. Okay, so you want to go up like this, almost like you're going to do, you know, like Hulk, like when he goes like that. It's basically the same movement, right? So you go up and then you close it down. You really like close down like this, like you're doing a most muscular type of thing, right? You go down. Let me get the 1.4 back on, that's better. See, I'm doing this like most muscular, and keep your hands in this grip where they're like this. So at no point do you want to go like this, because you don't want to be pressing down like that. You see how my hands are like this, right? You don't want that. You want them to be like this. So at all points you're pressing down like this, and you're really squeezing your chest down. You're going like, see how it's like flexing, going down and flexing them together, almost pushing your biceps inwards to squeeze that chest. It's very difficult to understand and it's very difficult to get right. Luckily this door is reflective, so I can see my reflection in this mirror to see if I'm doing the form right, which is great. Sometimes I look over there. But you can see I get up to that sort of 90 degree angle like this. I don't go all the way up because that will just knack your shoulders. Don't go too far back. Push down and reach the bottom where your hands touch, just like that. Nice and simple. So really get that form down, really use that, really train to failure. Yeah, look, you can see me looking in the mirror. It's great. Well, not the mirror, the door. But I can see if I'm doing the form right. And then eventually you reach failure. God, I did loads of reps on this. But you can, because this is an isolated movement really, compared to like bench press or something, you can really train to failure on this one. Also try and breathe through your nose if you can. Sometimes I breathe through my mouth, it's not good. It's better to breathe through your nose. But you can see you really go to failure. And at that point it's like, oh my God, it's so painful. And then we've got upper lower. No, low to high, we've got low to high, that's what I meant to say. Low to high, I would always say do dips instead. But sometimes people can't do dips, right? It is what it is. So instead you can do this. So you put them not completely to the bottom. I think mine's on like 8. Like there's a number on this thing that goes up. 1 is down here and then like 30 is up there or whatever. I put it on 8. So it's quite low. But what you want to do is basically the inverse of what you did up there. Right? So you just walk out just like this, almost like you're about to do a bicep curl. So your hands are out to the side as if you're going to do a bicep curl, but instead you lift them straight up. I like to keep my arms bent. Lots of people say don't do that, but if I keep my arms straight, I find it's the exact same as a front raise like this, right? So I feel it completely in my front delt. But instead, you just want to have your arms slightly bent just like this at like, what's that? 45 degree angle, I guess. Yeah, probably about 45 degree angle, and I feel that more in my chest. You are always going to feel it in your front delt. This is an exercise where you can't get rid of that. So it's you know, it is what it is really, but you still get good activation in your upper chest. That's why I would always say do dips instead, because on dips you get way more emphasis on your chest. And again, it's just that lunge forward. See how I'm not actually in line with this anymore. I'm not in line with this like I was on that one. So this one you actually do take a step forward and then, you know, go to failure. You want to go all the way back. You don't want your arms to be all the way back like this, so you're like in like a like Superman type of thing. You want it to go slightly behind your back. See how it's slightly behind my back, just until you feel the stretch in your chest. You normally feel it there, like in that part between your shoulder and your chest. That's where I feel the stretch. And then you want to go up to the top. And what I would say, I'm really sorry I haven't got the clip, but let's find it in here. You've got normal cable fly, so it's in between these two. So you put them at exactly where your arms are. Like if you put your hands out in front of you, move them to the side, that is where you put the cable at the end of there, right? And literally you just take a lunge forward. You do want to take a lunge, or you can get a bench and sit on the bench and do it like that. But what you want to do is get your arms like this and bring them out to the side. So it's essentially what we did here. So with that sort of that movement, right? So not completely wide and flat like that, not like this. You want them to be like that and squeezing those pecs together, just like that. You can, if you do it right now, you can feel it in your chest there when you squeeze them together. Sorry, I don't have the clip for that. That is my mistake, but I'm sure it's self-explanatory, and when you go and do it, you'll probably figure it out. So, or you can look up another guide that's way better than mine. This video is terrible. On to triceps, shall we? So the guy who was filming this, he's so annoying. He puts his hand in front of the camera about 1,000,000 times. What a guy. Anyway, triceps, we have got single arm tricep push down. So you might have seen people do this with like a rope or I don't know, any other attachment, but I find that doing it with single arm is so much nicer. So it depends on your cable machine. On my cable machine, I don't know if you can see it. In fact, if we go a little bit later, it's got this, you see that? I can put my hand on the cable. Say this is the black part there. I can put my hand around the cable like this and it rests just nicely on that the end there. So sometimes I know that cable machines don't always have these. So maybe you use some sort of attachment where you use a handle, like the handles that we were using before, but instead of them being in that like triangular shape, like how do you make a triangle? I don't know. Instead of a triangle shape, you sort of move it like this. So it's just a bit awkward. So try your best to get into this position if you can. And what you want to do is slightly, oh my God, this guy, this is going to be so annoying to show. Oh my days. Okay, this is a bit better. Just ignore the finger. So he did mean to do that, by the way. He did mean to be annoying. So it is annoying. You want to slightly lean over, so you can see I'm slightly leaning over. I put my feet together just because I feel locked in. I put my left hand, well, whatever hand I'm not using, I put that on the cable machines for some stability. And then I put my arm out to the side. So literally, if you get your arm like this, like you're doing a, I don't know, like a hammer curl, for example, your arm is fixed into your body like this. You want to put it out about 45 degrees like this. Okay, so that's the path that you want to get, right? So not like completely in, not completely out, 45 degrees, just like that. There's a lot of 45 degrees in this kind of stuff. And then simply extend your arm. Don't lock out your joints completely like this. Get to about that position, right? So you're slightly bent a little bit in your arm. And then nice and slow, back up to the top. And try and focus on what I'm doing. This guy, oh my days. But I'm like, bruv, come on, man. So annoying. But obviously, because it's a single arm movement, you have to do the other arm. So it does take a while. It does take a very long while to get this done. But oh my gosh, bruv. There we go. Okay, we finally got some clean shots of it. And you can really get to failure on this because you can just put all your power into it. And when you know you're training to failure is when the machine starts shaking. Like you're literally like this, like you're trying to get it down, and you're literally shaking. You'll see me do it here. See if I do it on this rep, I might do, depending on how hard I train. Yeah, look, you can see it shaking there. That's when you know you're training hard. And you can do half reps. Look, and you have to do that. In fact, you don't even see it. You have to shake your arm because it hurts that much. So that's when you know you're training to failure on this one. Now, I would actually do, no way is he doing that. He's actually, oh wait, no, he's not. No, he's not. I was thinking that this guy in the background was doing the exercise that I wanted to show. But essentially, I would lie flat on this bench and get a easy bar, which is like, in fact, I'll just Google an easy bar. Easy bar. So it's like this, right? Like that. So it's like a weird shape, and you put your hand on this part. See that part there? That part there. Just like the outside part. And you lie flat on the bench. I'm sorry, this is a terrible tutorial. I don't even have the clips, but I never recorded me doing this. But you lie flat on the bench, and essentially when you're lying on the bench, you want to get that easy bar and push it into your face, like, well, not push it, but like let it down into your face like this, and see how my arms, this part of my arm is not moving. It's only my forearm that is moving, right? So it's literally just like every other exercise, but you just go down and up, and that trains the long head of your tricep. Let's get the tricep out. I don't know if you can see that. So you've got the part of the horseshoe. In fact, I've got a picture of my tricep, mate. What am I on about? I am terrible at these. So this is the short head of the tricep. That is the medial head of the tricep, which like connects the whole thing. And then you've got the long head of the tricep, which is the back around there. So the first one, the one that was like that, with the guy who was pointing and put his finger in the picture, that is for your short head and sort of medial head. Medial head is if you do sort of like bench press, like close grip bench press. But that one sort of trains all the heads really, but it's emphasis on the short head. And then the one that I'm about to teach you, and the skull crusher where you lie flat on the bench and do that, that does your long head of the tricep. So very, very important, because your tricep makes up 2/3 of your arm. It's very important to have a big tricep. But in case you don't want to do that, because I never used to want to do that because I was terrified, you do this instead. So you get a rope. It's not as good as the exercise where you lie flat on the bench and do that. This is the path that you want to take, by the way. So into your face like this. So to the point where the bar just touches the top of your nose like that, and then push up. Go light enough, or just have a spotter to the point where you drop it on your face. It's called a skull crusher for a reason, but don't be scared. It's not as bad as you think. And then If you can't do that, or if you're too much of a wuss to try that, then go on this instead. So you get the rope attachment just like this. You put it, I have it on number 8, so the same position that you put this one on, if you do that. So just slightly down, so not completely at the bottom, about there, right? So not completely at the bottom, just about there. And you want to, it's really awkward to get up. So let me get to the point where I'm getting the cable. Yeah, so I'll get the cable, I'm standing straight in front of it, straight over it, and then I have to wrap it around my body. So see if I can explain how to do this. So just like that, and now I'm in position. So when you go up, this is my right arm, this is my left arm. I know you know that, but left arm goes over the top of the head, right arm comes round, I twist that way. So what way is that? I twist like that. I don't know how to explain how you twist like that, but yeah, left arm, non-dominant arm goes over the top of your head, right one comes round, and you twist your body like to the left. That's it, you twist left. It's very awkward to get up, but once you do it, it's good. Get up to the top of the movement. Let me do it one more time. So up, just like that. And then you want to get into this lunge position. I put my back foot pretty much on that part there. So I'm almost straight up and I'm standing a little bit forward. I'm leaning a little bit forward like that. Right, so I'm not completely straight up, but I'm not completely lying down forward like this. I'm sort of once again just over the top of it, just like that. And then try and keep your elbows in as much as possible. This is actually how much I could get them in. Like normally they'd be completely out wide, but I try to keep my elbows in, and you only get about that much, right? You can't go like this, it just doesn't work. So that's why that one, where you do that, is so much better, the one on the flat bench. But this is the best I could do. Try and keep them as close as possible. And then once again, not locking out your joints, keep them slightly angled just like that. Nice and slow, go to the bottom, and then sort of go slower as you reach the bottom, and then push up, and then slowly go on the eccentric, which is the bottom. See how it slows down towards the bottom and then pushes up? And this is a very difficult movement. So at some point, it'll be dead easy, and then you'll just start failing instantly. Which you'll start noticing me. See, that was quite a difficult rep, and then I'll probably fail this rep. See, it just hits you like that. It's just instant death. And I probably fail on this one. Yeah, I'm using a bit of momentum there, shouldn't do that. And then the way you got on to the movement, do the opposite of the way out, is what I find. So I'm like this, and yeah, I put my left arm over the top of my head and my right arm back. So it's very awkward to get out of this. But you can see I put my right arm round, just like that. And Bob's your uncle, you're done. That is exactly how I grew my triceps from this to this, and my chest from this to this. This is pretty much the exact workout I've been following, just a few minor tweaks to make it this good. But that's all I do. I do three exercises for my chest, one for my upper chest, one for my middle chest, one for my lower chest, and then two exercises for my tricep. One for my short head, one for my long head. That is it. Nice and simple. So follow that for the next 3 years and you'll notice results. I will see you later. Good night.